and ruffled male prides are meant to distract them, Marcus remained silent. He admired the beauty his cousin had swept off her feet. Literally, when he'd stormed out of the Duke of Windermere's study, barreling into Lady Calliope, who had just reached the top of the stairs. His quick reflexes saved the young woman from serious injury, or worse, catapulting to her death. She was as slender as a willow, lovely and as fragile-looking as a blush pink rose. "How could you?" Calliope's voice interrupted his wayward thoughts. "When I did not knock." His cousin's surprise was evident from his shocked expression. "I see." Marcus chuckled at the play of emotions on his cousin's face. Anger, frustration, confusion. He'd never seen William battle to regain control. His cousin was always in control. A glance at the lovely Calliope and he realized she was the reason for the change in his cousin. Some of it good, some of it, well, he'd decide later when he thought of the change that had come over William. "How could you possibly?" Calliope queried. "When you and Baron Summerfield were immersed in yet another of your discussions, as it were?" "I would have you call me by my given name, Lady Calliope." "She will not," William barked. "Of course, Marcus," she replied, without deigning to glance at her husband. Was it truly a battle of wills, or something more? His cousin seemed angry on the surface, but there was a knowing glint in his eyes that he'd seen before, when William was bent on seducing one of the barmaids at the Thorn and Rose. "Do I detect a note of derision in your voice, my love?" William's question sounded like a caress. Marcus tried to cover his burst of laughter with a cough, but did not quite manage the feat. When the couple turned and frowned at him, he shrugged. "I am standing here, for you to discuss matters I'd rather not be privy to, in a manner more befitting behind closed doors. Preferably with you two on one side of the door and me on the other." Calliope's face flushed a deeper shade of rose, before responding with a shake of her head. His cousin ignored him entirely. He noted William's voice had not lost its seductive tone as he murmured to his wife. "In the future, I would appreciate it if you would knock before entering. Marcus and I could have been discussing something of great import." Calliope's demeanor changed. Gone was the hesitant, shy Rose. She frowned and retorted. "No doubt. You would not wish me to be a part of any discussions of such a serious nature." Marcus laughed out loud. When they turned and glared at him, he raised his hands in the air. Sorry. He nodded to his cousin. "Do continue." William threw his hands up in the air. "Why do I even bother?" Calliope slowly closed the distance between them and looped her arm through her husband's. "I shall try to remember to knock, but the door was open," she reminded him. "The two of you were so loud, I doubt either of you would have heard me." "Still, it was a private conversation between me and my cousin," William retorted. "About me?" Calliope reminded him, as she fit herself more closely to her husband's side. Marcus noted the change in his cousin's demeanor, as the noticeable frustration gradually slipped away, leaving behind a palpable calm. Astonishing. Was it by chance, or would it happen again if he pricked his cousin's temper? "We've been over this twice before," Marcus interjected, putting his plan into action. "My answer has not changed. I do believe you are suffering from a peak of jealousy that your wife would find me as attractive as you." He sighed audibly. "I suppose you shall hound me until I supply you with a different response, until you hear the one you desire." William's jaw clenched and his gaze narrowed. The low and distinct growl was something he'd never heard from his cousin before. Excellent. He'd more than hit the mark that time. Before William could blast him with a verbal response, Calliope's hand cupped the side of her husband's face.